Okay, it is now 6 p.m. and I will call the Public Art Commission meeting of October 27th, 2025 to order. Before I proceed, I would like to take a moment to go over our meeting protocols for today. The South Pasadena Public Art Commission, scheduled on October 27th, 2025, will be conducted in person and virtually via Zoom. To maximize public safety while still maintaining transparency and public access, members of the public can observe the meeting via Zoom. Now, staff, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Seal,
Present.
Commissioner Piazza, Commissioner Burke,
Here.
Vice Chair Velasco,
Present.
Chair Andres.
Present.
We have quorum.
Okay, so we have approval of the agenda. Commissioners and staff, do you have any requests for additions, revisions to the agenda? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing no requests, I would like to vote on the commission to proceed with the approval of agenda as submitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, the minutes are approved. Public comments and suggestions. The Public Art Commission welcomes public input. Members of the public are asked to provide comments, and they were asked to provide those by 12 p.m. today. Pursuant to state law, this commission may not discuss or take action on issues not on the meeting agenda, except that members of the commission or staff may briefly respond to statements made or questions. Staff may not be allowed to follow up on such items. Okay, so we're going to talk about the calendar. Items listed under the consent calendar are considered by the Public Arts Commission to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion unless a public comment has been received or a commissioner requests otherwise, in which case the item will be removed from separate consideration. We're going to talk about the minutes from the regular September 29, 2025 meeting. It is recommended that the commission review and approve the minutes. So do any commissioners have comments or have changes to the minutes? You had a chance to review those? If none, any,
I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose? None. Okay. So at this point, we're getting on to our discussion items. We now move on to item number 3, the draft of the Public Arts Policy Manual. It has been recommended that the commission review the proposed Public Art Policy Handbook and recommend the City Council adopt the Public Art Policy Handbook. At this point, we are going to talk about, we're going to address public comments. Has staff received any public comments in person or via Zoom?
Chair, first we're going to do the presentation and then after we'll ask for public comments.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commission, members of the public. My name is Erica Ramirez. I'm the Community Development Director for the City of South Pasadena, and it's my pleasure to present item number 3 tonight, the Public Art Policy Handbook for consideration. So today, the recommendation is that the Commission review the Public Art Policy Handbook and recommend that the City Council adopt it. Alternatively, the Commission can recommend that the City Council adopt the Public Art Policy Handbook with specific amendments. Or alternatively, the Commission may also request revisions and for the handbook to be brought back to the Commission for consideration. So just a little bit of background. I'm sure I don't have to tell you your background, but for the public and the audience, in 2023, the ad hoc committee was formed of the commission to review and work on the handbook. during the years of 2023 to 2025, there was research conducted, analysis, and recommendations submitted to the then director via various memorandums. On September 29th, 2025, the Arts Commission received a draft public art policy handbook in which the commission provided comments in person, also by email. I also met with various members of the community who also provided comments. All of those were reviewed and incorporated as best to my ability into what is being brought forth to you tonight. Also, I do want to make mention that the city attorney has done a preliminary review of it, so some things may have been revised or adjusted under that review as well. So just to recap, the responsibilities of the Public Art Commission are to advise the City Council on all matters pertaining to public art or art in public places. It's also the responsibility of the commission to review and approve proposed public art projects, as well as to provide policy recommendations on public art projects and programs. The duties of the public art program, which fall under the commission's duties, are to review locations for public art displays, to review and approve purchases or commissioned artwork. Also, the duties include the public art for city facilities or public places, the review and approval of that, as well as the review and approval of public art performers and art displays for public art programs. Also, the review and approval of on-site development project artwork. I just want to bring forth two definitions that I think are important for us to keep in mind as we're reviewing the policy handbook. One is that the City of South Pasadena Municipal Code defines public art as any artwork installed on private property in a publicly accessible location as established by the public art program, or artwork displayed on city-owned facilities. Publicly accessible is defined as located on an area open to the general public and clearly visible from an adjacent public property, such as a sidewalk or street. So the goal of the handbook is to provide guidance to the commission, to council, as well as to staff to ensure that we are consistent when we're administering the public art program. On page 3-7 of your agenda packet, I do have the table of contents listed for the handbook, and I have it here on the slide as well. And so I really tried to streamline the content and make it as simple as possible. And so, and just really clear in terms of what the contents are. So we have the major items, which a little blurb about what the document is, the purpose and objectives of the public art program. We have roles and responsibilities of the city as well as commission. In addition, I have a section regarding the public art criteria, which includes definitions. It includes what's considered eligible work. And then I did also include artist recognition, some just suggestions in that respect, because I know that that was something that the commission had brought up and wanted to see. In addition, I do have a section related to public art on private property that does include development projects for public art as well as voluntary public art. That it was kept in consideration of the definitions of what public art is and publicly accessible art. So that can also be, I know there was some discussion and I'm also, open to hearing the discussion from commission on that as well. Lastly, a municipal art collection, which includes ascensioning and descensioning, as well as donations and loans. So really the next step is for me to hear any feedback that you may have, and then I can either, if it's minor and the commission feels that that feedback can be incorporated into the handbook that will go forward to the council, I can make those revisions, take it to council. The goal would be for it to be on the November 19th City Council agenda for consideration to adopt. The commission may also provide no amendments, or you can also request that I come back to you with various revisions if the commission so chooses. That's the next steps. Other than that, I'm happy to take any questions and provide any feedback or take your comments and move forward as you see fit.
Okay, great. Thank you. Director Ramirez, I want to thank you for the work that you put into this. I know this is something that the ad hoc committee has been working on for years, and you're jumping on this and moving it to this point is greatly, greatly appreciated. So I want to start with that. So I want to open it up to our commission for comments on the handbook as it stands. Any feedback?
First of all, I want to congratulate all of you, Annalee, Rena, and Erica. This is a great document. This is a really good document. We've started out really well, and I think it's a good, strong addition to what we have going on here in South Pasadena. That being said, I have 3 things that I want to address, and they go from not very important at all to more important as they get. The first one, it's not important. There's a thing about plaques. You have to have a permanent plaque marker near the R word. And in plaques, the word plaque is used quite a bit. In a lot of cases, a plaque is not appropriate. I'm just saying, I don't know why the plaque is in there. Attribution to the artist is what we're after, right? I think that's enough. I do vinyl murals. You don't need a plaque for that. It goes right on the mural. So that's a small thing. The next thing then, about the selection of artwork. So if you turn to, I guess it's page 11 of the handbook, there's a area called selection. And I see it says here to start, the Public Art Commission will serve as a selection panel for public art acquisitions. It's followed by, essentially, there's going to be a subcommittee, right, with staff that are going to decide whether they're going to score their proposals. Now, for what it's worth, I respect our staff a lot. I think we have a lot to do with that. I do not think the staff necessarily should be involved with the selection process, or, they can do some of the legwork, but I really don't think that it's appropriate to have staff deciding what is appropriate and what is not, and what should and shouldn't be recommended to the commission.
Yeah, I actually, that was one of the things that I highlighted, and I agree wholeheartedly. I feel that that's one of the benefits of having arts professionals as part of the commission is that we have an expertise
Right.
in this field and can, I think, as a body, uh, be very much counted on in the selection process of in this case.
Chair, if I may, we do have a public comment speaker in chambers. If you want to go ahead and open the public comment before we proceed, if that's okay with you, Chair.
Absolutely. Next is public comment for general items. Or public comment for this particular item. Has the staff received any public comment in person or via Zoom?
Yes, Chair, we do have a, excuse me, a public comment in chambers. It is Mr. Rick Schneider. Sir, when you come up to the podium, just go ahead and state your name again, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
This is okay. Well, thank you for inviting me to speak. Good evening, commissioners and staff and everybody at home who's watching this. I hope a lot of people are watching. This is an important commission. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't let Mr. Burke finish his comments before I was called up. But
I'm not shy. I'll get my comments in.
okay. Well, I'm representing the South Pasadena Preservation Foundation. And we're very interested in this handbook proceeding. I think it's very well done. I want to congratulate the commission members who were part of drawing it up. And of course, Erica has done a wonderful job shepherding it through. From what I've heard from Mr. Burke's first comment, I agree with his comment too, that I think it's the commission that makes the decisions on art, and the staff, supports them. I don't know what your next comment is going to be. I hope I don't have to come back and say anything else, but,
Well, let's see if you say the same thing that I'm going to say, so.
okay. Anyway, so the Preservation Foundation is really interested in this because we have a project that we've been working on for years. I think a presentation was made to this commission a couple of years ago by Lori Rush about the monument for the Adobe Flores, which is a very important building in South Pasadena. The oldest building in South Pasadena has very important historic and cultural ramifications for the city. So we are very interested in having this go to council, getting it approved, hopefully at the November 19th meeting, if not soon thereafter, so we can get to work on the public art project to help identify and commemorate the Adobe Flores. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Chair, we do not have any public comments on Zoom, so if you want to continue with the,
I do.
Yeah.
I want to apologize to you, Commissioner Burke, for
Oh.
cutting you off, and we definitely want to hear the full extent of your input.
Oh, you don't want to hear the full extent. Like, we could be here all night.
We might, actually.
First of all, about Mr. Schneider's recommendation. So the Adobe Flores is an important building, and I get that. And I understand that we want to put a plaque there. Does this require this commission's approval to do that?
Hmm,
It does?
okay.
There we are. I mean, I don't have any problem with it. Anyway, as I was saying then, plaques, that would be appropriate use of a plaque. I don't know that other things would necessarily. And I believe that the commission should make the selection of who the public artist would, public art that would be acceptable. And I'm wondering, so for instance, what does planning commission do? I believe that they take public comment, or they take whatever comment, and then once the public comment is closed, they discuss among themselves what should be done, whether something passes or doesn't pass, and it's put to a vote. Am I correct? Is that what happens in planning?
So in planning, it's the presentation by staff, and then there's questions to staff, and then it opens up for the public comment, and then public comment provides comments, and then it goes back to the commission for discussion. So I think that's where staff maybe wasn't sure, because it wasn't questions, right? It was discussion, so. And then it goes back to the commission for consideration. They can ask the applicant questions at that time. They can ask staff questions. And then they consider the recommendation by staff, whether to approve it or to deny it.
But they decide right there and then.
Correct.
Right. And I believe that we could do the same sort of thing. Now, there may be some matters that would require, okay, we want to have this reviewed by a subcommittee and we'd like to, but for smaller, simpler things, I'm not sure that that's necessary. I mean, we could do it either way.
If I could just clarify, and maybe it's not clear in terms of the document. So the selection is referencing when there's an RFP in process. So for when there's an RFP in process, then there's multiple proposals that are received. Those are usually reviewed. They're also usually scored. And so the purpose of staff being part of a selection committee is to do that work, to receive the proposals, to provide what the scorecard would be, to organize that information. Normally, there's usually a subcommittee that is formed. It doesn't have to be. It can obviously serve as the commission as you so choose. But usually there is a subcommittee that's formed because they vet through all those. If there's interviews, they conduct their interviews, and then the subcommittee brings forth the recommendations and the findings to the full commission for review, consideration, approval. So that's, in a traditional sense, what happens with an RFP, just so I can provide that contents for you.
And that makes sense. I mean, I see that. I see that. The third thing, and this is the one that I think is the most serious, if we go to page 14 of the policy manual, and I can't really read because it's black over background, but voluntary public art. We, at the last meeting, I believe I mentioned something about that there is currently no ordinance in South Pasadena that precludes a property owner from putting up any kind of artwork on their own private property at their own expense, unless, of course, it is commercial in nature, so it would fall underneath other ordinances, or it's obscene, or whatever, and that's fine. But to have public art be subject to this commission to have to get a permit and pay fees, I believe is a city government overreach. I believe that as Americans, we have a First Amendment right of freedom of speech. We should be allowed to put up whatever we want. And I don't think, contrary to what this document says, where does it say it here? It says here, the project shall be subject to review and approval by the Public Art Commission to ensure the artwork aligns with city aesthetic standards, and is appropriate as construct. No, I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that at all. I think that individuals should be allowed to speak their mind, whether or not it is in the city's goals and things that they're after. I don't believe it should be subject to this commission. I believe this whole section on voluntary public art should be stricken. do.
I have one question about that. What if, like in the example that we had last meeting with the giggling ostrich, what if they're using something that is considered advertising on their public place?
Well, now, let's be sure what we're talking about here, because I am not talking about the 1% for art requirement. I'm talking about somebody wants to put art up on their property. For instance, I put a mural up at 99 Pasadena Avenue. It's got a pig. It's a very large pig. There could be 3 members of this commission. There could be 3 members of the city council that say, I don't like pigs. No, you can't put it up. I don't think that private art paid for privately, put on private property, should be subject to the whims of this commission or this city government.
I agree. I agree with you, except like I said, my concern is that what if someone is putting up something that they're calling art, but it turns out to actually be advertising?
Well, if it's advertising, and you can make that case. But I don't think that's what we're talking about here. I think what we're talking about here is this commission and city government having the ability, having the requirement to have to get a permit, to have to pay fees, and then perhaps being turned down because somebody doesn't like the art. Now, if it's commercial, then it's commercial, and that's another story. If it's obscene and it could come under obscenity laws, whatever, then that's another story too. But if somebody doesn't like my pig and they say I can't put it up, I would ask, who the hell are they to tell me that I can't put that up on my property at my own expense?
Any other thoughts on that?
Chair, if there are people in chambers who want to make another comment or a public comment, you would have to open the public comment again, or wait till everything comes up, and then if the gentleman wishes to come up
Okay.
to speak after, then we can go
Okay,
ahead
yeah.
and do that.
Okay, I'm going to
Very quick
continue
second.
talking amongst the commission at the moment, and then we'll entertain outside comments. I also understand your point. We've been on the commission for several years now, and we have had people come before us presenting as a courtesy their projects that they were placing on their private property. And one of the things I really like about this manual is that it's very clear, to me at least, which I think can be confusing: public art on private property, public art on public property. And in this case, I was surprised to see this because this is not something that we have ever discussed before. It certainly wasn't part of the ad hoc committee that we would try to have public art or private property kind of part of this purview of this committee.
Right, and so this was added because this is artwork that is facing public right of way or that is accessible to the public. And in the reason why this was added was because in reviewing the definition of what is considered artwork by the municipal code and what is used in terms of the definition of what is publicly accessible, then that's when this would fall under that.
Just to be clear, there is currently no ordinance that says that somebody can't put up ugly art on their own property. And to include something like that in this policy manual would mean that we are creating an ordinance, that we are creating a requirement just by adopting this, and I don't think that's what we want to do. I think if anything, we want to cut the red tape, not add to it.
So
And
thank you
I
for
would
the comment,
further
but
add
I would say
that
that
whose
it's
direction
not
was this put on?
including. It's not created in ordinance. Again, it's through the interpretation of the definitions that are already in our municipal code. So in terms of creating an ordinance, a lot of cities have like mural ordinances, for example, and that's where a process like this may come over.
Was this
But-
added by the attorney?
I'm sorry?
Was this added by the attorney?
No, this was added in our last draft, and then there was comments received, but again, going through the definitions of of what our public art we have in our municipal code as well as publicly accessible, that's why it was left in addition to just best practices in terms of what other cities do and what's usually under the purview of the Public Arts Commission.
Oh, okay, just to be clear, let's be very clear. There is currently no public ordinance in this city that disallows people from putting up art, no matter how publicly viewable it is, on their own private property. Am I wrong or am I right?
There's no prohibition, no.
There's no prohibition. So we are in fact creating a prohibition by including
No.
that in this policy manual.
I would not agree with that,
No?
no.
Could I ask a question here to clarify something? Because I have felt that that this commission, when someone brings art in front of us, they are not asking for our opinion on the style of the art so much. Like, I don't think it would be the commission's place to say, we don't like your pig. Our commission should only be saying, does it qualify as public art and is it not advertising? I don't feel like that the role of the commission has ever been to judge the art. We
Right.
might make suggestions. We might say, have you considered this or that? But we're looking at it to say, is this advertising? Is it, like you said, is it obscenity?
Right.
But-
We're not here to say, oh, we don't like pigs, make it a horse.
But I think but we're not to be confused among the projects that have a public art requirement on private property.
Right. And this-
So this is different. Of course, yeah. This is like, we've had the church on Fremont. They came in when they did their mural of the children. They came and presented, but that was just a courtesy to us. That's their private property. Similarly, the Laker on Mission also came before us, but that was just a courtesy. That was not, to get approval of the commission. I share your discomfort with this. And I was surprised to see it also.
Well, also too, this policy requires that an application be filled out, that we approve it, that it is subject to permitting and fees, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't think that we should be doing that to the citizens of the residents of this community.
Mhm.
I don't think we should be doing that. For, anything that is required, if it is part of the 1% for the arts, okay, I can see that we would have purview there. But if someone just wants to put up a piece of art on their property, they should be allowed to do that.
I personally agree with you. And I think that's, in my opinion, part of our commission is to promote the arts in the city of South Pasadena.
I would suggest that this section just be shortened to something that says, essentially, if it's not commercial and it's not obscene, it's allowed. That's my thought.
Okay, do we have any other comments on the manual?
Other than that, I think this is an awesome policy. This is pretty great.
I just have there's a typo
Uh-huh.
on the top of
Commissioner
page 6
Steele?
in the heading, artist
Mhm.
and art court.
Yes, I saw that too.
Mhm.
Thank you for that, I appreciate it.
I know in our last meeting, we talked about maintenance. So I don't know if that's covered well, that's similar to the voluntary public art, because I did see there was a section on ownership and maintenance, but it has added a few other items in that section. But I know that's something we've come across discussing before. Just if something gets vandalized or, marked up, is it the owner's responsibility to maintain it?
Well,
I-
as for
Ownership
which
and maintenance
project are we talking
responsibilities.
about?
It clearly states this here on page number,
Under the
13.
voluntary public art,
And what
on
does it say?
page 14?
And what, I'm sorry, and so you're
Voluntary
wondering if
public
the
art.
property owner has to maintain the art?
Yeah,
Well, they have to
Or if
maintain their
that's-
houses too,
yeah.
you know? Um,
I
So,
just-
I mean, I
Concern
really,
for
I think
responsibility.
that the government, I think cities should keep their hands off private property. I mean, I'm a very liberal person. But I believe that we have a First Amendment right of free speech, and I believe that if you're going to keep up your house and you're going to keep up the art, then you will. But I don't think it needs to be codified.
Because the other areas are talked about, maintenance is talked about.
Yes,
just
when
not
it's
that.
public art on private property.
Right.
Which is part of the ordinance, or public art on public property, those are all covered. That's, and I think that is traditionally what we've understood to be the purview of our commission.
I agree.
Okay.
So, anyone else? Okay, so I feel like on our commission, the two areas that we would like to see um, some attention is the selection process. And we can have some attention to the voluntary public art section of this handbook.
And if you can just, thank you for that. And if you can just clarify in terms of the selection process, what is it that you would like it to say, or how would you like it to be
Yeah.
revised? It does say that the Public Art Commission will serve as the selection panel, and that there can be
And-
a subcommission, a selection of two commissioners to join for,
Yeah, I agree.
Subcommittee,
I
but
would,
it
I
doesn't
think it should be an
require-
option that it's not necessarily goes to an ad hoc. I mean, it depends on the amount of, responses that we
Mhm.
get. If this is something that's reasonable, I mean, if we get, 100 responses, that's one thing. But I think if we get 10, that's certainly something that our committee could go through and assess.
And by the way, I guess I should be very clear. This selection process is talking about, let's call it outbound art, things that we commission,
Yeah.
not necessarily things that come in front of us.
Right. This
Um,
is our.
So, and you know what,
Correct.
I can, what you've got written here is right, it is correct, but I think most people reading this would think, oh, it would have to go to a subcommittee and staff's going to be involved and whatever. So, we could do that, we could do a lot of things. I just think that by placing it in the policy manual, it could be a little misleading. It could seem as though you need to do that, but
would you like?
maybe if you just change it to may at their option, may at the commission's option. And I think I'd be satisfied with that.
So the commission may consider versus can, is that?
Well-
That, or do you want me to?
The commission may at their option consider the selection of two, yeah. They can
Give some flex,
submit having a subcommittee, and I would just leave it at that.
or not, or have these come to the full committee.
It could, either way. I mean, it's going to come, it says right there in the beginning that the Public Art Commission will serve as the selection panel. The subcommittee is an optional thing, and as long as it reads as optional, I think we're okay. I don't think I have a problem with that. I just don't want it to look as though you have to have a subcommittee, and I don't think staff should be involved.
I thought they clarified that the subcommittee is just to review the RFP proposals. It won't be for the artist selection panel, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Right, yeah.
Yeah, but they present it's my understanding, and as it's written, that it would be, graded and then presented for approval.
If the art commission chooses to use a subcommittee, then there's usually two members that are selected, and then staff will facilitate the review, scoring, interviewing of the proposers and then that would come to the full commission as a recommendation by the subcommittee for
With the
consideration.
results of that
Correct.
process.
Mhm.
Okay. So if the committee, if the
So wait a
commission
minute.
wants to be involved in that,
Just so we're clear, though, so is staff doing the interviewing of the artists?
No, it's the subcommittee, so it would,
Subcommittee with
right.
staff
So it-
involved, not,
Staff
Yeah.
would be involved in terms of helping prepare the questions if so, the subcommittee so chooses. Um, You know,
but there would be members of this commission that would be.
yeah, and I would
Yes,
like that to be
yeah.
optional, that our entire commission be privy to this process.
Yeah.
Which I think,
I agree.
personally, I feel most comfortable with. Okay.
Okay.
And then we're, in terms of the secondary, the issue about the voluntary public art. I know I'm personally in agreement that the voluntary public art be stricken from this document, and I want to reach out to the other commissioners and get your thoughts on that.
I was thinking on the voluntary public art. I like the part that says that, private property owners are encouraged. I think that's important to say that in here.
Okay.
I think if we say that and we say, they're encouraged to make a presentation to us, and we take out the part about permitting
Mhm.
and fees, and we make it clear to people that we really want the city really wants and appreciates art, and we'd love to work with you in any way possible and answer your questions, but we're not going to put red tape on the process.
In fact, I would say that first sentence, private property owners are encouraged to enhance the community's cultural and visual environment by voluntarily installing artwork on their property,
Bang.
Yes.
Yes.
period.
Yes.
And we could put in there that we're open to any voluntary presentations if they want to show it to us, and we could,
They can, although we do need to make it clear that,
that it's not required.
yes, it's not
Yes.
required.
Anyone else have any thoughts on that? Okay, if you could implement that. Yeah. Yes, and then we have, thank you. And finally, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
patience. I'd
Yes.
like to open up the floor here for outside comments.
Thank you for reopening the public comment. This is why I was hoping Jeff could have gotten his comments in all before I got to speak the first time, but no, I'm up here a second time. Speaking for myself, my name is Rick Schneider, and speaking for the public, I totally agree with the last formulation that you came up with. I think that's great. Otherwise, I think this commission should be silent on the idea of art on private property and just leave it that way. It's not in the city code now, so just leave it alone. You can encourage people to have public art, to have private art, but I would not use the terms allowed or anything of that sort. Okay, that's my feeling. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, so unless there's any other comments, we're going to move on to item number 4, project status updates.
If I can just have an official motion in terms of if the commission wants me to move it forward to city
Okay,
council
yes.
with those revisions, if this commission wants me to bring it back.
Okay, I think we would like to move that the amendments that we've discussed, that as the artist selection as we've spoken, right, in the comments here, be implemented. I would also like to move that the voluntary public art be greatly reduced to include only the first line of this, as it currently reads, and also encourage owners to voluntarily come before the commission. I would like to move that be limited and included in this manual.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'll
Sorry.
take roll call, Chair. Commissioner Seal? Commissioner Piazza?
Yes.
Commissioner Burke?
Yes.
Vice Chair Velasco?
Yes.
Chair Andres?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, so now we move on to item number 4. Project status updates.
Thank you, Chair. This status update is from a conversation from the September meeting. Just a follow up from the July project status update. We will be providing this as a standing item for all of our meetings. We did include all projects from 2024 to 2025. And this is the most up-to-date sheet with building valuation and what the project will be choosing in terms of the public art program, whether it be the in lieu or to provide on-site public art. So I'm available for any questions you have.
This is awesome.
I know,
By the
I
way,
was like,
we have been asking
yes.
for this for a long, this is awesome.
We've been waiting for this for
Great.
a long time. Really well done.
All right, so so the 1020 El Centro, that's the former school district headquarters? Yeah. And they spent how much? $500,000? Under $500,000? Oh, no, actually they paid in lieu fee is 1.5%. So they spent under 350,
325.
328.
So
That was what they spent on,
this is just for the commercial site.
Right.
So all those tenant improvements
Right.
that are going in there, the overall project, that was the total building valuation.
okay. For what it's worth, I have been a developer for a little bit of time. I'm currently building a restaurant right down the street, which is on this sheet. Really, they spent $328,000. They built a whole subterranean bunker for the electrical on that property. I mean, it's fine if that's what the building department says
So
it's worth.
I misspoke. It's just for the shell building.
Uh-huh.
So the shell of the old school district building, so
Right.
not the individual
No, I
tenants,
understand. So they didn't include the TI work.
Right.
The tenant improvement work,
Right.
but they did include everything else. If the building department is good with that, then I suppose I'm good with that. But for what it's worth, I couldn't do that.
Right.
But I'm not as talented, I suppose, as people.
Well, I'm glad you're on top of it. Okay. As part of this, I mean, here's our balance budget. Yes.
Yes.
Public art fund balance. Love that. Does everyone see that at the top? I had
Mhm.
missed that before. $12,597.
We're in the money.
Yes. Okay. We're getting a bit of a budget here.
we are.
Okay.
And I felt really bad at the last meeting. There were the first group of people that came in was the brewery, right?
Mhm.
And we were telling them, yeah, it's 1,000. It was actually, we were off by 0. It was
Oh.
actually 10,000. And
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
We told them,
Did we tell them that?
yeah, I believe we told them 10.
Because I believe by one point,
Yeah.
somebody said $1,000. And I remember Mary Linda was in the audience. She's an art consultant and she said, no, I can't do anything for $1,000. And then I realized it was 10,000, but
I
as
think
long as
that,
they know.
I think that was made clear to them.
Okay.
I seem
good.
to remember
Okay,
that.
good.
Okay.
But this is awesome. Can I say that again? This is awesome.
And with the balance right on the top.
I know, right?
So good. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we are on to our administrative items. Our city council liaison is not here. Are there any comments from our ad hoc committees? We have the public art inventory and the roster of local artists.
There is no new public art anywhere in this town.
Okay, thank you.
And the roster of local artists, we discussed at the last meeting, saying that we were actually waiting on the handbook so we knew what we were moving forward with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just an update of what's it, how's it going? Just,
I did deliver a finalized draft of what the website would be saying as
Oh,
far
okay.
as the artist call.
okay, great, wonderful.
Okay. I've also been working on a draft of the website. just to kind of understand what we're posting. Because now that we have the manual, I don't know if this is going to be available online or like as a PDF form.
I think it has to be approved.
It does have to be approved.
By the
We should
city
talk about
council.
what's going to be
Yeah,
approved.
so at a later
Yeah.
time.
So once it goes to council for approval, then it'll be on the website. I will be reaching out though to the ad hoc on the roster just because we have to make sure that we're able to format it in the website format that we have. And
Mhm.
there's a bit of a process. So just like with the handbook, there was a recommendation to council, right? So we have to go through the process just to make sure that we're able to take that on as our work item in order to update the website and what goes on our website. And there's a process that we need to have that approved. So I want to reach out to the ad hoc so I can make sure that I'm shepherding it the right way and I'm not there's not more work that's being done before we know what the process is.
Okay.
So that way I can be helpful. So I am going to be reaching.
Okay.
Okay, great.
I think I was just, yeah, because we didn't form a formal ad hoc for the website. Right, so do we need to?
Yeah, should we do?
We could, well, I didn't know that we had previously started a draft on it.
Well, because remember we had talked about.
Yes.
And I had said that I had started a draft on it.
Yeah.
So I finished that.
Did you email it to?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I could, yeah.
Would it
whenever
be
that
helpful to
meeting
start
happens.
another ad hoc? On the website? Would that be
Do
helpful?
we have a list of current ad hocs? Because I think.
We have public art inventory and the roster of local artists. Those are the two ad hocs.
Do you know, I think city staff typically makes the website and incorporates things into it. And
Yeah.
I believe if we have all the content prepared,
Mm-hmm.
then staff would probably be a little bit more on the ball about how to
Okay.
format it for their website. I mean,
And there might be
Yes.
updates when we do like the artist pool or like a call, just that would help us with the
That-
artist
yeah,
list as
that's
well.
true.
Yeah, the only thing I was writing was not exactly how to put it on the website. I was just putting the format of what we wanted on the website. I was not
That's fine.
creating.
Sure.
So just, yeah, slight recommendations on what we would want to add.
Yeah, because I think it could they may not know exactly what needs to go on the format of the website.
Have to make sure that what's the process to have that approved to put on the website. So that's what I want to understand from my perspective.
Okay.
And then, so that way I can be helpful. Now that I've, been able to be helpful with the handbook, I like to be helpful with the website and the local artist roster, but I just want to make sure that if there's a policy or procedure that I need to be aware of and communicate and help shepherd it through that, then I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, you guys on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see, what's next? We are moving to communications from the commissioners.
Awesome job on this policy document.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just want to say that to everybody. Great job.
Yeah, that was a long time in the making, and Director Ramirez really greatly appreciated.
Mhm.
Okay, so thank you. We are now moving on to comments from staff liaison. None? Okay, so with that, thank you very much. That concludes our meeting for tonight, and we will adjourn to the next scheduled meeting on December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Thank you.
One quick, before you hit that gavel. So the comments that we made about the public art policy, is chair going to review those, or somebody, that committee going to review, the ad hoc committee going to review those prior to
The
them
submission?
being done, their submission?
They
that?
should.
Yeah, that would be
I mean,
helpful.
even if just the chair reviewed it, that would be fine, or the committee, whatever. We don't have to have a full committee meeting. But I think if we're in the spirit of everything we've said tonight, I think it'd just be good to have somebody's eyes look at it.
Yeah,
I
if-
agree.
yeah, we would like that. Thank you.
Sounds good.
And then when is the date that it's being submitted, or what's the plan date for it to be submitted to the city council?
So my goal is to have it it's tentatively on the agenda already. I placed it on the agenda for November 19th.
Okay.
So that agenda usually gets published by the 12th or 13th. So I normally have the staff report going through the system by next week. So I should have something to you by the end of this week or the beginning of next week.
Okay, great. Yes, yes, I think we should be present, but November 19th, yeah, we should be present to that.
When is Thanksgiving? It's the 20?
It's the week
something?
before Thanksgiving, right?
Okay.
Right, so it's a Monday? Is that a Monday? Wednesday, right, Wednesday. Okay, so it would be great if as many of our commission could be there, would be great. So if we could put that on our calendar for those that could make it, 6 PM.
All right, so we should all be there if we can.
Yeah, let's
On that
do
day,
it.
okay.
As support, because we've worked hard on this and we've spent a lot of time. So I think it'd be a good show if you can make it. Okay,
Didn't mean to interrupt you mid-smack.
yeah,
of the
I'm
council.
ready to go. Okay, next scheduled meeting, December 15th, 2025 at 6 PM. Adjourned.
Nice.
Thank you.